Rebecca's heels click a staccato rhythm against the pavement, each sharp sound a nail in the coffin of her career. 20 feet behind, Marcus watches the tremor in her shoulders, the stumble in her usually confident stride. "Don't follow me," she snaps, unaware he knows exactly where she's headed and why. In conversation that had just ended her career. "Effective immediately, Miss Sterling. Security will escort you out. 3 years of 60-hour weeks, missed family gatherings, and sacrificed relationships had just evaporated because of a client's false accusations and office politics she had never seen coming." The personal items from her corner office were already packed in a box that security had handed to her like she was some kind of criminal. Rebecca's mind raced as she walked, barely aware of her surroundings. Her savings would last maybe 2 months. Her reputation in the tight-knit financial community was ruined, and the apartment lease she had just renewed would become impossible to afford. The weight of it all pressed down on her chest, making it hard to breathe. Behind her, about 20 ft back, Marcus Rodriguez pushed his cleaning cart slowly along the sidewalk. At 38, Marcus had worked as a night janitor at Meridian Financial for 4 years, arriving each evening after spending the day caring for his 9-year-old daughter, Sophia, who had been born with cerebral palsy. Marcus knew all the building's employees by sight, though most of them had never really seen him. He was part of the invisible workforce that kept their world clean and functioning while they focused on more important things. But Marcus noticed everything, especially people in distress. He had been finishing his rounds when he saw Rebecca leave the building with security, her face pale and her hands shaking. Something about the way she walked, the rigid set of her shoulders, and the slight stumble in her usually confident stride made him concerned. In his experience, people in that state of shock sometimes made dangerous decisions. Rebecca turned down a side street and Marcus followed at a distance, telling himself he was just heading to his bus stop. But when she veered toward the Riverside Bridge, his concern deepened. He had lived in this city his whole life, and he knew that bridge had a dark reputation for people in desperate situations. "Don't follow me," Rebecca snapped when she noticed Marcus behind her voice sharp with pain and embarrassment. "I'm not going to be robbed on top of everything else." Marcus stopped, raising his hands peacefully. "Ma'am, I'm not trying to bother you. I work in your building. I just wanted to make sure you're okay." Rebecca looked at him properly for the first time, recognizing the Meridian Financial uniform beneath his worn jacket. "I'm fine. Just leave me alone." But Marcus had spent 4 years watching Rebecca Sterling work late into the nights, often being the last person to leave the building except for him. He had seen her kindness when she thought no one was looking, the way she always said good evening to him, even when she was rushing, and how she had once left a $20 bill on her desk with a note that said, "For coffee," after he had worked extra hours cleaning up after a particularly messy client meeting. More importantly, Marcus knew the signs of someone in crisis. He had seen them in the mirror during his darkest days after Sophia's diagnosis, when the medical bills were crushing and the future seemed impossible. "Miss Sterling," he said gently, "I know it's not my place, but whatever happened today, it's not worth what you're thinking about doing." Rebecca whirled around, her professional composure finally cracking. "You don't know anything about my life or what I'm thinking. I've lost everything I worked for, and I have nothing left." "You have tomorrow," Marcus said simply. "And the day after that, I know it doesn't feel like much right now. But trust me, things can change faster than you think." "Easy for you to say," Rebecca replied bitterly. "You don't understand what it's like to lose everything." Marcus was quiet for a moment, then spoke with a gentleness that made Rebecca pause. "My daughter was born with cerebral palsy. The doctor said she might never walk, never speak clearly, never have a normal life. Her mother couldn't handle it and left when Sophia was 2. I had to quit my job as an accountant to care for her full-time." Rebecca's anger began to fade, replaced by surprise and shame at her assumption. "For a while, I thought my life was over too," Marcus continued. "I went from managing corporate finances to cleaning offices at night just to keep us afloat. There were days when I wondered if Sophia would be better off without me struggling to provide for her." "What changed?" Rebecca asked quietly. "Sophia did. One day when she was 4, she took her first steps. Not because any doctor said she could, but because she wanted to reach me. She had been watching me struggle and decided she was going to fight too." Marcus smiled softly. She taught me that sometimes the best thing you can do is just keep going until you figure out what comes next. Rebecca felt tears beginning to form. I don't know how to keep going. My career is over. My reputation is destroyed, and I don't have anything else. Miss Sterling, can I tell you something I've learned from watching you work? She nodded, curious, despite her pain. You care about people more than most folks in that building realize. I've seen you stay late to help junior associates with their presentations. I've watched you take difficult calls from clients who were panicking about their investments, and you always treated them with patience and respect. Marcus paused, choosing his words carefully. A few months ago, my daughter's wheelchair broke, and the insurance company was giving us the runaround about replacing it. You probably don't remember, but you overheard me talking to my supervisor about it, and you gave me the name of someone who could help cut through the red tape. Rebecca did remember, though she had never followed up to see if her referral had helped. Sophia got her new wheelchair 2 weeks later because of your kindness, Marcus continued. That's not the action of someone who has nothing to offer the world. As they stood there in the growing dusk, Rebecca felt something shift inside her chest. The crushing weight of her professional failure was still there. But Marcus's words had created a small space where she could breathe again. I don't know what to do next, she admitted. You don't have to know tonight, Marcus replied. You just have to decide to see what tomorrow brings. They walked back toward the main street together, and Marcus told Rebecca about Sophia's dreams of becoming a teacher, her love of math, despite her learning challenges, and the way she approached each day with determination that inspired everyone who met her. She wants to meet you sometime, Marcus said as they reached the bus stop. I've told her about the nice lady in the building who always says hello and helped us with the wheelchair situation. I'd like that, Rebecca said, and realized she meant it. Over the following weeks, as Rebecca navigated unemployment and job searching, she found herself thinking often about Marcus and his daughter. She began volunteering at a nonprofit that helped families with special needs children, using her financial expertise to help them manage resources and plan for the future. It was there that she met Dr. Patricia Hernandez, who ran a foundation focused on financial literacy and support for single parents. When Dr. Hernandez learned about Rebecca's background and her recent experience, she offered her a position developing programs to help families navigate financial challenges during medical crisis. We need someone who understands both the technical side of financial planning and the human side of what families go through. Dr. Hernandez explained, your background is exactly what we're looking for. 6 months later, Rebecca found herself in a career that was more fulfilling than anything she had experienced in traditional finance. She was helping families like Marcus and Sophia navigate the complex intersection of medical needs and financial reality, using her skills to make a tangible difference in people's lives. Marcus still worked his night shift at Meridian Financial, but now he had additional income from the weekend financial literacy workshops that Rebecca had helped him develop. His insights into the real-world challenges of managing money on a limited income had made him an invaluable part of the foundation's outreach program. You know, Rebecca said one evening, as they finished a workshop for single parents, I never properly thanked you for that night. For what? Marcus asked, genuinely puzzled for seeing something in me that I couldn't see in myself. For understanding that sometimes we need someone else to remind us of our own worth. Marcus smiled, watching Sophia help clean up the workshop materials with the other children. We all need someone to believe in us when we can't believe in ourselves. You did that for me and Sophia long before I did it for you. How do you figure that? Every time you treated me with respect in that building. Every time you acknowledged that I existed when other people looked right through me, you were telling me that my work mattered and I had dignity regardless of my job title. Rebecca felt a warmth spread through her chest as she realized the truth in his words. We were helping each other all along, weren't we? The best relationships usually work that way, Marcus replied. People think rescue has to be dramatic, but most of the time it's just about recognizing the good in someone and reflecting it back to them when they can't see it themselves. As they walked out of the community center together, Rebecca reflected on how dramatically her life had changed since that desperate evening on the bridge. Losing her job at Meridian Financial had felt like the end of everything, but it had actually been the beginning of a life with more purpose and meaning than she had ever imagined possible. Sophia wants to know if you'll come to her school presentation next week, Marcus said as they reached his bus stop. She's doing a project on people who help others, and she wants to include you. I'd be honored, Rebecca replied. What's her presentation about? Heroes in everyday clothes, Marcus said with a grin. She says the best heroes are the ones who don't wear capes because they're too busy helping people to worry about looking impressive. Rebecca laughed, thinking about how perfectly that description fit Marcus himself. She's going to do great things, isn't she? Already is, Marcus said proudly. Just like her hero who taught her that sometimes the most important job is helping other people find their way back to themselves. As Rebecca watched Marcus board his bus, she realized that he had given her something far more valuable than career advice or crisis intervention. He had shown her that true success wasn't measured by corner offices or investment portfolios, but by the positive impact you had on other people's lives. And sometimes the person who saves your life is the one you never expected to notice you were drowning. If this story reminded you that heroes come in all forms and that our darkest moments often lead to our most meaningful purposes, please give it a like and share it with someone who might need to hear that their current struggles could be preparing them for something better. Subscribe for more stories about unexpected guardians and second chances. And let us know in the comments about a time when someone saw potential in you that you couldn't see in yourself. Sometimes the most important rescue happens when someone simply refuses to let us disappear.